not the what is even that mace called that makes the cool looking chronosphere?
I don't know.
Mace of Eons, I think, or something like that.
But like, it's KP. Like, what does a Brewmaster really do throughout the mid game without your ulti? Like, I feel like you're very ulti reliant. Void is just. It can go faceless Void favor in a matchup, but you have to be like an item ahead of the race team where you can kill him without needing to use Chrono. If you get to that stage, then the matchup's fine. But if you don't, then it's not good at all. I mean, it's a Wraith King with a Darkseer. Any melee matchup, so any melee carry with the Darkseer, I feel like thrives in. I really like this 496 draft.
Yes, but I feel like SMG, they're going to play the exact same way that they played game one, right? You've got mid one who's going to be happily farming away. You've got KP that's going to be playing a little bit too deep, baiting a lot of people to rotate in onto him. And this time he's a Brewmaster, right? So you've got slows, you've got evasion, you've got your ultimate in a pinch if you need to try and get away. And then it's going to be up to Nia, as well as the Grimstroke in particular, to be able to rotate through and pick up kills. And it might even be a game wherein she can play a little greedy herself as well. You know, maybe take up a few of these jungle stacks, get up an early Medallion of Courage or a Solar Crest, and then once the first key item has been obtained, then look to start enjoying these fights. But again, like, I don't want to see too much of the same playstyle from SMG, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Could you see potentially 496 actually aggroing versus the Void and trying to dodge the Darkseer versus the Enchantress? Because I feel like Darkseer versus Brew is going to be a good matchup. You're going to get a lot of farm there for that BB. And then a Wraith King is such a stronger laning carry than the Faceless Void. You've got an Earth Spirit, you've got a Snapfire. Yes, like SMG supports are pretty good as well, but I feel like their tri-lane might be just slightly better. And then it gives your Darkseer a better game as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, with this Darkseer, you've got a lineup that you want to enable as much as possible, right? We see Darkseers these days go like Soul Ring into, you know, maybe an Arcane Boot, and then they just rush straight into the Ag Scepter. And, you know, with a Leshrac, it's something that already deals a ton of AoE damage. Same sort of thing with the Earth Spirit, that both of them love that extra 300 HP as well. So I think, yeah, just like you said, even if it means sacrificing Yassi's farm a little bit, you know, he's going to be very sacrificial this game, I feel. It's all about giving Death BB a good start. They just didn't have that in game one.
Yeah, they really didn't. It wasn't a game where Pengo could thrive in, and yeah, we'll see if this time that baby can thrive potentially with the Darkseer. But no, it looks like it will be Drew still heading up to the top side. They'll keep it as an actual setup here, and that's towards mid from Radiant. What? Yes, he's like, what the hell is going on? No.
It's Christmas.
What? D wards. What the heck?
Yeah. That ain't it, Chief.
That's gonna be. Oh no! You hate to see it. You really do. You really do. Okay. Well, let's see. So KP with Arfu. This seems like, speaking about Arfu, he's going to take a lot of damage here. Slows will wear off, but Bombi's right clicks is enough. The stick, unfortunately, not going to give him the health pool required to get out of the threshold there of that right click damage. And First Blood early getting picked up from Bombi.
Going a lot more of that, you know, old school style of Snapfire. Not like it's been in the game for that long, but he's gone into the Scatterblast level 1, not getting the Blightstone and the little Shredder. I guess it's kind of understandable, just because if they were to use it onto to KP, he could just run away, but it's a good amount of damage, and you showed the effect of having that double slow, both from the Wraith Fire Blast and the mini Scatterblast slow, and able to pick off Arfu here. Might have lived if he used a Tango, actually, as he was running away, but just not opting to.
See, Outblock on a fair here, so it does seem like this is going to be a pretty difficult time for that BB. I mean, you can get rid of the Iron Shell. The Surge as well always seems like the big factor for the Enchantress, just being able to purge that away instantly. And we were kind of highlighting that the Enchantress can really enable you to go for a more greedy position, one that's maybe not as strong in the laning stage, and that's exactly what the Void kind of does.
Yeah, exactly. And you can already see Rogi, he's gone for the Blackstone to start things off. He just wants to be harassing as much as he can in the lane. And there's nothing really you can do to be able to turn around. Like, that enchant slow, just even ignore the fact that it's really good against the Darkseer, just being able to purge things off, right? Oh, that was really cool by mid one, actually, using the time dilation to be able to cancel out Stat BB's salve now that it deals that damage over time.
Do you like this change to the time dilation? Because it got a lot of interesting works through 7.29.
It did, and well, speaking of DPB, he's actually getting chased down a little bit here. No bash, and really nicely done by Yassi there to be able to bop him away.
Is under attack.
I like it. I feel like it was nerfed a little bit too much as well. Kills on the top side of the map, actually. We're even seeing pro players in their pubs for now try out, you know, a few of these builds where it's like, let's try a Faceless Void in a position 4 or 5 role. Not that it's completely new. I mean, Januel did it for Neon Esports in, I want to say, about 7-8 months ago. So, you know, anything could work, but we're seeing like Ricky Pos 4s. I feel like China's really led the way, as well as Neon Esports, with a lot of this innovation coming through. You know, the 5 Luna, the 5 Gyrocopter, the 5 Faceless Void, the 5 Troll Warlord. Anything can work.
Yep. And that's what you want. It does seem like a meta where, yeah, there's going to be a couple of these broken heroes. I think Beastmaster, you know, the shard from the Grimstroke is a big factor as well. But it does really seem like a meta where there is a lot viable, and that's how you want Dota to be. It just makes the game, you know, enjoyable to play, and you know, you don't get on and have a boring time. As that BB is... this is what I'm talking about. Like, I really wonder how different their lanes could have looked if they swapped it. I mean, he's got 12 last hits right now, but he's really not having too fun of a time.
Yeah, they were lucky enough to be able to grab this Ghost as well. It does so much damage. The slow is really good. It does piercing damage as well, which is always really nice. So, I mean, they basically resigned this Darkseer to the fate of, well, you're not going to have a very good game. And that is reflected in the net worth. If you want to have a quick look over at that, he is second last. Scratch that, he's last.
Lost. Yeah, and like this kind of enables the Earth Spirit as well. Like if Darkseer has a good game, that extra points in Iron Shell can really help Yassi's rotation. So I'm really intrigued. Right now it's not looking good, and I want to see how it really impacts them through the early game.
Yassi's just standing between this mid lane and bot lane, but the Observer Lord is scouting him out entirely, which I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gone and tried to de-ward it just yet. Is that what he's got coming out to the crew? Yeah, he does. So they saw the fact that he just placed up there.
Oh my, that's a lot of damage. Grimstroke had 2 points up of the Inkswell, and that's a big kill to find. And even Bombi also just TP back to the tower there. So if they know that they can get pretty aggressive on the Snapfire there, that's 2 early kills for SMG up top.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love the fact that he hasn't maxed out the Cinder Brew, but it's something that is very easy to proc when you've got something long like a
Here comes Yassi coming into play. Splitter sets up for the roll, and Nia will get brought down. Finally, Yassi is going to have something to play around with there, with a great rotation. I believe, yeah, he got that D1 on the higher ground, so finally, without the ward for the Nia Ember Spirit, it cost his life there.
Yeah, maybe could have been playing a little bit more defensively there, Nia. Like, you know he's in the area, you know he's de-warded, and it feels like it's for a pretty damn good reason. As trying to go for the deny onto the rune there was Rogi, but I mean, who cares? Arthur was just able to pick it up.
Mid one's already got this Mask of Madness. Love this first item, Mask of Madness, as well. You need the sustain to stay afloat with the constant harass of the Iron Shell, and you know you could get shoved out into the jungle pretty early too. So that Mask of Madness at least is going to give you a way to be able to get your farm without having to buy too many resources.
They're pinging out here. Might be looking to go for a kill. Afu was just out of range, and they're going in for Yassi.
Bombi's coming over as well. Nice use of the cookie. Hung. Not even going to need the split earth there. They'll find at least the return kill. So we see a 3-hero rotation from either side coming to the little bit of an engagement in the river.
And there's no one happier about that than DPC. Like, yes, mid one is obviously getting a good amount of farm, but he's not being bullied out of the lane all that much. He only just hit up level 5 quite recently, and at least now he's able to get some farm. He's not sitting at the bottom of the net worth anymore. He's slightly ahead of all the supports.
Wow, I didn't see that on cam, but DPC getting a solo kill on mid one.
You just vacked him. He vacked him from the trees. It's got a bit of damage.
Oh, Hung might get a solo kill on Rochi too. You just gotta be careful how deep he goes, but this Leshrac is putting in work right now. Killing spree for 496's Lesh.
Radiant's courier has been killed. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Alright, what do we got next? They've finally gone into the Blightstone there on Bombi. Makes sense. And he's getting... I would say the 2 points is the value there for the little Shredder. You know, you're not really worried too much about the bonus range, the fixed damage. It's nice, you know, you're able to put in a lot of burst potential there, but I feel like you do need a bit more stun. You need a little bit more of that reliability there for, you know, the Leshrac to really combo together with what she wants. She? He.
Who, the Lesh?
Yeah, he's a he.
Man, I don't even know. Yeah, he's a mystical fairy pony top lane. KP, he's got the ulti. This is a scary hero to play into right now. Yassi rolls on cooldown as well. Drew himself is going to be a bit cautious with how long he wants to stay fighting KP at the moment, because they might be able to burn down the reincarnation. They need rotations, they need now. 496, where are the numbers coming into play? They're slacking up the Snapfire. Moving on over is Hung as well, but Drew's taking a lot of damage. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep his life before the Leshrac comes on over as Drew. Fairy Fire, not enough. He'll end up falling, but Hung, it's his time to shine now. He's going to bring down one, trying to find a second. The silence on Nia. Remnants toward the eastern side, but they're able to close the distance as the Ember didn't have any more remnants to play around with. So 496 at least will be able to answer that aggressive dive, but we do see Drew losing his life there.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a pretty big misplay by Afu. There was no reason that he needed to be in that close, right? He has 2 points in the Stroke of Fate. He got the Inkswell off onto the right target, but he just dives above the tier 1 tower. It's a full tower. There was no reason that was going to go down. You're just putting yourself really in harm's way, and I don't think he even got off a single Stroke of Fate once they continued for that second dive onto the Wraith King. So a lot of wasted movements there coming through from SMG, and they're punished because of it. And with that, I mean, Hung, he's had a very good start to this game. He's stacking up camps for himself, and he's a full 1,700 gold ahead of this Ember Spirit.
Yeah, it's been a incredible performance from the Lesh. 4-0-1. And how do you feel about the Leshrac right now in the meta? Because we did see some interesting buffs to the hero. I mean, that Lightning Storm seemed to get buffed up a bit. The radius from the Pulse Nova as well. I'm trying to remember if there are any talent buffs as well.
Not
off the top of my head.
Not the talents really, but just the change to the shard as well. So now it goes 3 times the extra pulse on it, which is always quite nice. The range becomes enormous by the third.
Oh, mid one. He actually might get brought down here. Cookie sets up for Hung Split Earth, and that's another big kill on the Faceless Void. They lose that tier 1 tower, and now they might end up sweeping over to mid.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
You do see that SMG going to be able to take their own tier 1 tower of the game up top. So at least they'll hit back in the objectives. But losing the Faceless Void there is something you don't want to see for SMG fans.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Kaya and Sage is a good item, but I'm not sure if it's the right choice for the Lesh, because it's not really going to impact you all too much if you're inside of a chronosphere, and you're not all that concerned about, you know, a slight reduction in duration of a Searing Chains, or a slight reduction in the Inkswell duration. I feel like a Bloodstone would have been much better, because it actually provides that spell lifesteal as opposed to the amplification. So as long as you've got something going, whether it be the Pulse Nova or hell, even just the Edict, you're going to be able to heal somewhat within the chronosphere, which I think is probably the only way that you're going to die super early on.
Yeah, that's a great statement. It's done bot, that baby. Mid one If he has to drop the Chrono, maybe he can just keep getting some bashes there. That's good enough for him as we'll get a nice cheeky kill. Meanwhile, KP, he's in trouble. Yeah, see with the roll on. They got the Mortimer Kisses now, KP. Forced to commit the Primal. So at least it's going to give him an opportunity to keep his life. He even gets the Cyclone off on the start fire. Now he's got some reinforcements swinging on over to the top side of the map. Nia with the double damage rune. See the Ember go to work.
Even gets the Matrix dodge off onto the Boulder Smash. Roger was coming in, and like we were thinking, right? You're an Enchantress. You got 320 movement speed. You do not need those boots of speed. Maybe he's got some coming out. Nope, just a ward. So he's just gone full into the survivability. A casual cloak to be able to deal a little bit more with the Lesh. You've got more points into the Nature's Attendants. And a kill onto mid one again.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Wasn't even the roll. There must have been just a silence into the kick slow set up for the split. And on mid lane, do see Darks here. He's going to end up getting brought down again here. So that baby still struggling right now on the Dark series. Lowest net worth out of all the cores.
Gonna go for a roll onto Nia.
My sprites are with us.
Didn't even try for the geomagnetic grip.
Yeah.
Wait up.
A little surprising considering you have the fire snap cookie right there and available. And this is big. 4 man.
That's a massive Chrono from mid one onto 4, but where's the damage? That's a big issue right now with the drop. They're going to look to turn Hung on. He actually cookies on forward here, KP. He's going to end up maybe losing his life, KP. It's pretty tanky right now with the itemization. Radiant, they don't have a lot of mana to play with as well, but looks like the Inkswell gets the kill on Yassi. And SMG still come out ahead there.
They do, and I'm not sure if Drew really wants to be at this team fight at all. You know, he doesn't have his Radiance yet. If he's got the burn, then maybe, you know, the Faceless Void, the Brewmaster have to think twice about committing into that one. But instead, you're just getting nothing in exchange.
Where are you going? Come get healed.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty good time on the Radiance from Drew if you can keep farming up at a decent rate. Coming to that fight is going to slow it down a little bit there.
I'm a little confused about where he's farming. Like, in the past minute, he's taken a single small camp, and now he's going into the Radiant jungle. They spot him out as well. Maybe just worried about being able to kill him twice when they don't have that Chronosphere.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Is there any... What's Nia going for as well? Again, crit stick. Okay. Oh, Hung Hung. Under the KP with the quit, and he's got the ultimate. Now Hung Hung once again. If he feeds away his life twice in a row, this Leshak was so far ahead on the net worth. Experience as well is getting a lot given away. But Dire, what can they do here? Drew still without the Radiance. Is going to turn. They drop down the wall. Can they chain block mid? Use the back from that baby. Drags 3 back into the wall. Mid one's going to get brought down from the tick of the Iron Shell. And now KP as well is going to attempt the TP out. He'll make it down to the western side. Roji stunned up thanks to Yassi's roll in. They need one more click. In fact, it's just the roll maxed out that has the damage. A great fight, but again, we see this Leshak dying twice in a row here. You got to be very wary of your positioning, especially when you're top of the net worth and the highest level as well.
Now, I don't want to keep saying that Bloodstone might have been the right item, but I feel like that Voodoo Mask, at least on its own, might have been able to survive. Oh.
Nia?
Radiant's bottom
Stunned up
Level 11. This is a big kill. Even just putting the Reincarnate on cooldown is huge.
Bibi's coming over. It's got the surge available as well. Drew should be fine. Chrono, mid one, ready and available. Even Hung Hung showing up right now. Gotta be careful they don't get baited in the same spot. KP is pulling Wood, however, the Wood's already been popped. He's lost all that absorption. And on 496, they're actually smoking up. They're looking to continue the onslaught here as Roji. I think Yassi just got a little bit of vision. Can he keep up with the fast Enchantress though? Yes, he can. Finds a connection. That BB kick back into the darks here, and it looks like unfortunately Rochi once again will end up falling. 4,000 net worth lead for 496, and this is a much better game 2 from them.
Alright, so Hung Hung, he's going into the Eternal Shroud. I like it. You know, you've got the spell Lifesteal amplification from the Kyron Sand, which has been maxed out. And at least now he's at least got the Voodoo Mask, you know, so if they look to make a commitment with that Chronosphere, as long as he's got off the Diabolic Edict and, you know, the Pulse Nova is a huge bonus to be able to have, I still don't think he dies. Ooh, tried for a cheeky play there with Nia to get the Ixwell off using the Sleight of Fist. Didn't work out.
Some big items as well getting picked up. That Essence Ring is great for them. You know, if you want to give that to the Lesh, who's actually holding it right now? It's still the Darkseid that's holding him. And he's really close to the Aghanims. I think he's got other components on the Courier.
Yes.
Does he? Yeah, he does.
This is some huge timings. I mean, they've just got Spirit Vessel, they've got the Ags set up, they've got well, Eternal Shroud's still a little bit away, but at least you've got the Voodoo Mask, and I think Lesh is happy to continue holding the Fairies Trinket.
And you take a look at Radiant, like, are there any real big timings that we're going to see come through from them shortly?
Actually ends up dropping the Fairies Trinket for the Pupil's Gift. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Fairies Trinket is still better. KP, they're going to come in.
Radiant structures
On again. Very far off.
Mana.
He's low on her life as well. They just commit everything for the Lesh, and why not? Nice use of KP, Storm Panda 2, Cyclones up the Snapfire, so Bombi's Mortimer Kisses won't have an effect through this team fight. Another Cyclone dropped down to his demise. As 2 will fall, Bombi just stands and takes it. There's 496, just giving away a couple of freebies here, and you know, this is right. If they just kind of stood their ground, shoved out the lanes, and now look to go with their timings. I mean, you know, Lesh would have had Eternal Shroud if he was farming safe. You got Radiance now picked up. You got the Aghanims on the Darkseid. You said the Spirit Vessel as well. So, yeah, maybe a bit of an overstatement.
An overstatement. And another roll in. Good back.
Good back up. Nia coming over. They're going to drop the wall here. Even Arfu wants to show up. Soulbind stops the roll in. 496, however, with this Soulbind cannot commit forward to bring down the Enchantress. So a lot used from either team. And no kills.
Mid one's going to go the standard Mask of Madness Maelstrom into the BKB, so he realizes that, look, I've taken enough time to farm away. You can't let a Radiance Wraith King just run riot. The big thing for him, though, is that he's got the Sange coming out to him quite soon, I believe. He's had it finished up, so you've got that lifesteal amplification. Obviously, with the Wraith King, just a casual Sange is totally fine for that, right? You don't even need to finish up the S&Y. It's much more of a later game thing. Hell, he might eventually go into a Halberd. But, you know, just the Sange on its own with the Mortal Strike, it provides you plenty. And this seems like a much more thought-out engagement onto the bottom tier 2 tower. You've got everyone, people are in place. They might even be able to get this before the 20-minute mark. Not sure if it went through or not.
Yeah.
Might have been just after.
Be nice to know if it did go through at that stage.
But yeah, they've got everything, basically, that they might possibly want, whereas SMG, they're a little short on a number of things. You know, you've got the Solar Crest finished by Rogi, but he's still hopping around with no boots.
He
doesn't have the pipe yet either.
Ulti just got back up. It's really difficult to commit onto the Brew unless they think they can chain lock him down perfectly. Because they need a D ward, however, Dire, great posturing around the high ground. Silence doesn't get the control on Arfu. He's still going to roll in, true. Wraith Fire Blast on cooldown, so they just need the damage right now with the Ink Swallow. They're going to be careful because they're going to be Corona. But again, where is the damage? They'll get rid of the Earth Spirit. Yes, he won't be able to join off his team fight. And now Drew still, he's able to man fight. Mash use of the wall, drag back with the back. Now they've got the Mortimer Kisses KP. He needs to hunt right now with the Storm Panda, but is unable to find the Snapfire until too late. So the Mortimer Kisses goes to work, but no one's dead on SMG.
It was the big worry that I had. Like, Nia, you might be a fantastic Ember Spirit player, but it's about synergizing your lineup, and there is no synergy coming through when that Chronosphere is dropped. I mean, it's essentially putting everything on Rogi, to be honest, and you're a pos 5, you know, you're there to support. He only has the 1 point in the impetus, so it might look flashy, but until it gets super late, it's not going to be super effective. How lucky is he with his bashes, though? Pretty lucky.
Radiant are scanning.
Third death of the game there. for that BB, but we do see nonetheless 7,000 net worth lead for 496, and with the performance they're having right now in their second game, they are well on their way to even up the best of 3.
Yeah, 7k lead at this stage. I mean, I feel like they let Drew get a little bit too farmed for the stage of the game that he was in, even with that probably a little bit too deep engagement there. They put down this Observer Ward again in your favorite little spot here, next to the Radiant Secret Shop. I think...
Oh, yes.
Which one was placed first?
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Well, they're going to D-want it anyway. They found it once, they'll find it again.
And now with a bit more difficult, you see, if they drop the sentry like that. And if you have a way to scout the high ground, then it really enables you to be more... I want to say more greedy with where you place your sentries, instead of just having to drop it on the high ground for the vision.
Yeah. I don't know, Hong Hong. I'm gonna need you to go back to the Fairy's Trinket. I feel like it's so much better than this Pupil's Gift right now. The armor's gonna be nice, I suppose, from the agility that you get, but you know, even everything about Pupil's Gift is just tailor-made for Lesh.
What's he got queued up? He's got cheaters, okay. Armor.
I mean, they have got a little bit of a minus armor strat, right? You've got the Blightstone on Nia, you've got the Solar Crest, of course. The Faceless Void is going to be bashing you left, right, and center, although he's magic type, but he's still a furious right-clicker in his own right, and I think he's just picked up the BKB for himself, so that's a lot of key timings coming through for both teams right now, with that Eternal Shroud and the Blink Dagger finish by the Lesh, so he's going to be looking to go in onto the backlines.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And, you know, not just the Blink, you've also got the Surge available for that. The Ag Scepter, Ion Shell going in onto Yassi. So many ways to try and deal with these backlines. It's really going to show how good Afu and Rogi are with their positioning. You can see Afu's standing well back right now, not wanting to put himself at any kind of risk.
As foretold.
And they're going to smoke up.
The rune of regeneration.
SMG. Let's see what they can do with the smoke right now. Mid one's got an arcane. It's gonna be a nice BKB, would be 52-second cooldown. Chrono 112 as well if they get usage out of this arcane. Hong Hong's showing.
They know Drew's here. Do you want to go on Wraith King though? That's the question. I feel like anyone else honestly is their preferred target.
He's really close to level 18 as well for 496. I don't know how much they want to fight right now. Even Leshrac too.
It feels like, you know, they're both happy with their timings, so they're just roaming around. Not necessarily as 5, but I don't think we're going to see any sort of split push going on. Maybe by the Lesh. Actually, he doesn't even have boots of travel, so it might be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, they're all in on armor this game, actually. Bombi's even going for a Lotus Orb. So, even that defensive factor, I guess, get rid of the chains. Trying to think of what else you can really get rid of. Time dilation.
Ooh. That's a nice...
Oh, yeah, hit the wall as well.
Connects onto a couple.
Okay. Yassi, roll, kick away. The wall's doing a decent amount of work. I mean, Nia doesn't have too much mana. Now the silence as well stops Brewmaster from being able to use the Primal Split, but the Waterman Kisses doesn't really do a whole lot. Meanwhile, the River mid one battling her over with Yassi. He's able to bring him down, but it looks like it's a lot of space. Mid one will get the kill. They even kite away the rest of the team as well. Very disconnected right now is 496, and it might cost them their life here as Drew gets it done, but mid one able to time walk forward, and now SMG Hong Hong is going to blink in the middle of fight. Drew's still got the second reincarnation life to be able to utilize here, but now with Chrono getting dropped as well. Mid one protected with the BKB. He's going to go to work. He needs a couple more bashes. Bring down Hong Hong. Is the Eternal Shroud enough for the Leshrac to keep his life back up here? Now mid one has to reset the stuns on the mark there for the Lesh. No, can't get him though.
Just a little bit
496. Apologies.
No, it's all good. I mean, it happens, and well, we've got an AC picked up this time around for Drew. It felt like they were very disconnected that time around by 496. You know, there's always that fear of the Chronosphere dropping through, and mid one essentially soloed 2 heroes before he even considered dropping it.
Yeah, it was such a wonky fight though from 496. If you saw mid one just was kiting 2 heroes in the river, and then a couple of the rest of the teammates from 496 were fighting by the outpost. It was a bit disconnected, but you see now that they're back alive, knowing that Radiant used their ultimates, they're going to go into pit. Drew's still got the reincarnation available.
He does, and now he's level 18, so, you know, there's much less of a risk of him dying that first time. You're able to rinse and repeat. You've got the Dark Seer that's going to enable you to, you know, find a little bit of extra time to be able to kite out. Tanky Centaur, providing a lot of information to the team. Still, though, that Chronosphere being on cooldown for another 80 seconds is big. Triple time dilation.
Radiant's
Move on in. Roll just on the mark as well from Yassi. Kick back. No extra help.
KP doesn't have split. He could be the target.
The wall's in a pretty good spot by the pit if they can commit forward. Mid one's still very far away from the team. He has to pop the BKB more defensively to now reset. It's felt like the story of this game where no one's really dying, maybe one death, but then big ultimates forced out.
Oh, they might have seen the fact that mid one TP'd back to be able to defend that mid wave, so it's either go in or just take Roche. I'd go straight for Roche. You know, he doesn't have BKB.
They need to get rid of that Radiant Observe Ward though. Yeah, Bombi's going to be able to. Mid one can't join them.
All the double damage.
They need to commit forward for something here. There's a massive window right now from 496. Would you look at the X-Small heal? Oh no! Yagam shot so busted. They're able to get the Aegis, so snatched up from Hung Hung. But Raid King, he needs help and he needs it now. Mid one still trying to swing on over. Yassi's going to try and roll forward, maybe get the kick away. It's not enough. Drew still with the movement speed of the ball. Whip is able to make it up on the high cap. Mid one. Uh-oh, he showed up now. Back alive, back ready to go to work as the bash is there. That BB getting control. The attack speed from mid one, able to lock in that BB. 3 down from 496. Now it's all up to Drew and Hung Hung to blink away from the Lesh, keeps his life. Drew not going to be able to have the same fate as 496. A messy fight. They had a big window there. They knew mid one wasn't able to join them for such a long duration, but they just got baited, and SMG made them work.
They made him work quite heavily, and it feels like a lot of miscommunication coming through from 496. You know, they're not going to lose Roche at least. Sorry, no, they did lose Roche, but they're not going to lose the tier 2 tower, I don't think. They should be putting a decent amount of defense in onto it, as you can see. Yashi's coming up here. I don't know if this is going to be enough, though. Lesh is just committing into mid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, that's just TP not down.
I talk about the communication, right? Like, not only is it the fact that you saw mid one TP back, you saw mid one and use the BKB. He was in no space to fight. Leshrac had just shown up with full health and mana. He could have just turned on all of his spells, stood at the pit. There's absolutely nothing SMG could have done about it. And then on top of that, there was a double damage rune that spawned in the river. DPC was standing next to it for the longest time, and I'm sure he was saying, please, Drew, come, walk over and take it. But in the meantime, Nia actually used the Sleight of Fist, bottled up that double damage rune during the fight, and he ended up doing the most damage in that fight. So he's a big reason as to why it swung in SMG's way.
Yeah, we are seeing that the stuns right now are... I have stuns, but they're not... It literally just goes back to what you said, the communication. Like, there is really a lack of talking going through from 496 and just the link up of these chain lockdowns. I mean, literally everyone has stuns, but somehow they can't lock in the Ember, they can't lock in the Faceless Void, and we're just seeing like one hero's committing, the other person doesn't want to commit. They're really in two minds right now, and it's cost them a big swing. Yes, they still have the Aegis advantage on the Leshrac, but you see now, like, it's giving a lot of space to mid one. He's now got Skadi completed, and you know, even though I like Raid King in this matchup, you know, Faceless Void late game's a beast in itself.
And Hung Hung actually went and sold his Tranquil Boots, so he is hard committing onto holding onto these spider legs. It's going to be really good, of course, for traversing the fight.
Again, they missed the roll. Now Yassi, nice sounds, back wall, on to 3, mid one instantly pops the BKB, KP with the primal split as well. No buyback from Yassi, be able to rejoin the fight, they're going to bring down Dat BB. And now they're just controlling up Drew, and they've got 2 numbers advantage right now, Dat BB, buyback, wants TP back to the T1 tower, but they're controlling up Hong Kong, remember, it's got this ages advantage right now, so they can't really commit the Chronosphere onto the left track, neither the Wraith King as well, with all these second life opportunities, but they can bring down with the right click. Now you can drop the Chrono if you want to, they're all grouped up as well, potentially if they can get Drew for 4th, the Aegis gets ticked over, and they might have a beautiful double Chronosphere, but they're not going to be able to do so. There's Reincarnation, into mid one, he's holding it, now the Chrono finds 3, and mid one, and the damage is just starting to stack up, you got the inputs on the side as well, but the back, no, the cookie's left on there, Drew trying to manfight, but they find the kill, no, mid one's going to end up falling, it's off, the hung, the charge from the left track isn't enough, it's not, Lesh will fall, 3 down from 496, and that buyback, Jesse's going to roll away as well, that BB he bought back previously, so they're going to be careful, 496, you can't lose anything more.
You can't lose anything more. The little saving grace is that their tower push not fantastic. Yassi, he is going in again.
Invisibility.
I don't know about this one, bro. He finally gets away. But again, lack of communication. Leshrac doesn't have buyback, and I believe he committed to buying the Shiva's guard right towards the end of that fight with his courier. So he would have had buyback to be able to rejoin, but all they needed to do was wait another 10 seconds probably, but instead Yassi goes for that little too deep roll in, baits the rest of his team, and instead of fighting that entire time with a Shiva's guard aura, you're just not. You know, it's such a big difference to be able to have all of that extra mana, all of that extra damage, all of the extra slow and attack speed modifiers to be able to kite out. And when you've got something like a Snapfire, something like a Darkseer, even just the slow, the movement speed slow is so effective against this kind of lineup that SMG has. This is a
496. Okay, Drew. Nice silence. So by leashed up there.
They're not talking again.
Turn now. Yeah, where's the constant chain lockdown? Drew, he might just end up losing his first life, and Radiant really don't commit too far. And mid one, well, he's back live, ready to go to work. KP also just got the Aghanims picked up here. Hungon's gonna blink on 4 for the Reincarnation. They brought down the first life for Drew, and they're unable to deal right now with the Brewlings. They'll turn back, whoa, drop the 1. There's the control of Faceless Void, but he's protected with the Glimmer Cape along with the Ink Swell as well. So he's gonna look to turn, gets a kill on Bombi. Remember, 496 can have a lot of buybacks previously, so they're gonna be careful how far they want to stick around with the split up. Mid one's gonna be careful. Nice use the silence on 2 for mid one. Nicotine gets the BKB off. They need a reset key from 496. Drew's Reincarnation back up in 10 seconds, and they'll do just that. Up the high gun they go.
Well, they ping out the DD as well. Might be the priority for mid one. He's got 15 seconds left on that Chronosphere. They give him over the bottle. That's the priority, being able to pick that one up and look to re-engage. Even denying out the bounty route with the Kobold Foreman. Wanting to take that one away, but again, the comms weren't there. They were soul-binded together, and Wraith King and Earth Spirit were going in 2 different directions, so they were moving nowhere. I feel like they really need to step this one up if they're going to want to try and come back into this game, which was looking pretty dominant for them. I mean, they were sitting at a 80-85% win rate probability for 496, and that's gone right back down to 50-50.
Oh boy, it was about a 10,000 net worth lead as well at the highest stage here from 496, and all of a sudden you take a look, Nier skyrocketed in net worth. He was having a rough game on the Ember. He's now really neck and neck with the middle of the pack, and they're hunting. Pack of Wolves looking for their prey. Who can they find? It's going to be Drew. Mid one, Inkswell gets the stun. Not a long enough duration though for them to punish the positioning of Drew, and especially with him just getting that BKB picked up.
Yeah, the Sage and the Titan Sliver means that it's got to be a real good start if you're going to try and take anyone down, on top of the fact that you've got this Darkseer with the Iron Shell also surging you around in these team fights.
They've got double Lotus Orb right now on Dire, and the Aghanim Shard on this Snapfire too.
It might seem kind of small. Drew.
He's got some backup, hung on, blink on forward.
They can catch up to this.
Bring down Arfib. They're not able to, and now Hung Hung's taking so much damage with the Chronosphere, but mid one, he's now got the items to be able to go to work. Drew's falling low, he's going to end up losing his life. Mid one with the double damage room for this team fight. Let's see if they can chain lock it down, however. Bombi moves in forward, but once again, KP, this primal split is controlling. Wait, many of the heroes here, they don't have buybacks on two of the cores. Bombi's going to get caught out as well. SMG, you see the experience, you see the cohesion. They are just executing these team fights at too high of level for 496 to deal with.
They are, and they're going to push onto this high ground. No buybacks, and look, they're even just pinging straight into the Ancient. They want to go GG push, and that's what they're going to pull. My man, yeah, see, I really like you as a player, but this was not your game. Even just in that last team fight, he ended up kicking away the Grimstroke when Leshrac was standing on top of him with all of his spells pulsing away, so Grim was able to come in, re-engage, use the Inkswell again. That's what ended up killing the Wraith King, and I think if there is anything that 496 need to work on, it is that communication, because it just was not there in Game 1 or Game 2.